We're gonna get our full on acceleration here. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. Now this is a quote-unquote regular 392 that doesn't have the Extreme Recon package, so it's got 33-inch tall tires, and we're going to dig into this Wrangler and see if this package is worth going for, or if you should upgrade to the Extreme Recon. Before getting into the video though, as always, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Jeep. This one is available for sale right now. If you're interested, check out the inventory in the description down below, and then as always, on a side note, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide as well. Let's get into it. Under the hood, we have a naturally aspirated 6.4 liter V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. It is good for 470 horsepower and then 470 pound-feet of torque. Now with the quote-unquote regular 392, you have an axle ratio of 3.73. If you upgrade to the Extreme Recon, you have an axle ratio of 4.56. That'll come into play a little bit later in the video. During the driving portion, I'll kind of explain why that is important with the differentiation. And then obviously we got the hydro guide, which is always a cool feature to see, but yeah, crazy to see that engine under the hood. Now let's go to the front end of the 392. So you guys can see the hydro guide here at the top, which again looks so cool, just like the Mojave Gladiator has that just cool sporty appearance. 392 badge here on the side, and then Rubicon, you've got all of the gold trim that kind of signifies this is a 392. And then you guys can see here with the front grille, you've got Jeep signature front grille with the front camera, LED lights as well, and then notice here with the gold tow hooks. And then yeah, we got the sturdy bumper that you can put a winch in. Now, this is one of the downsides of the 392, and that is the ground clearance. This has 10.3 inches of ground clearance with the regular 392. If you get the Extreme Recon, you have 12.9 versus 10.3. Huge difference. And if you guys are wondering, the regular Rubicon with like a V6 or a 2.0 turbo has 10.8 inches of ground clearance, so this actually is less than a regular Rubicon. Don't ask me why. I'm guessing it's because of weight on the front end or something. Who knows? Anyways, solid front axle here, just like all other Jeep Wranglers as well. And well, there you go. Now we've got 17-inch wheels, and wrapped around that we have 33s in the front and over in the rear as well. These wheels are beadlock capable. Now this has a 2-inch lift just like a regular Jeep Wrangler Rubicon. If you guys are wearing the Extreme Recon, is another 2.5 inches on top of this, which is just crazy. Now, one of the benefits of the regular 392 is you have Fox shocks, as you guys can see. You do not get Fox shocks on the Extreme Recon package. Notice we got the Jeep logo here, we've got the rock rail on the side, and I love the Sting gray on this. Definitely has a cool appearance. And then you guys can see the tire setup there on the rear, and again, Fox shocks here in the back as well. And they don't have the weird like fender flare extensions, because again, it's not an Extreme Recon. But yeah, that's one of the key benefits of this is the Fox shocks. So here's our key fob. You guys can see you've got the unlock, the lock function, and then the remote start, as well as the Jeep logo on the back. And then you guys can see here with the spare tire, this is a 33 just like all of the rest. But I think this is funny, this has the like reinforcement for the hatch, even though this is not a 35. Camera there on the center. Now we've got the normal opening here for the back. Woo! So you guys can see this whole setup, obviously body colored here. If you take off the top, got the Alpine sound system. And then all of the storage space there underneath with a 12 volt as well. And then when you're done, window first always, and close that. And then finishing things up with the rest of the rear. Something I want to mention, because you guys know I own a 392, is this exhaust is crooked too, just like mine. So I guess this is just a design detail with the 392, is they all have crooked exhausts from the factory, which is kind of weird. If you guys can't tell, these tips are a little bit higher than the tips there on the other side. You got the recovery hook right there. Kind of an interesting design detail. Maybe that's why the ground clearance is less, is because the exhaust. That would be funny. But anyways, there's the rear. Now here's the door panel in the back. You guys can see again with the bronze stitching. This just has the regular Rubicon seats, just with bronze stitching instead of red, basically. And then you can see here with the vents and everything, and then the power outlet. But yeah, nothing's changed there. Now here's the front door panel. You guys can see again with the padding and the stitching. Blind spot mounting for the mirrors. And then here's the front seat. Note it says Rubicon 392. See the rest of the seat here with all of your manual adjustments. Pedal layout down below. And then notice here with our light control. Steering wheel is manually adjustable. Let's pop in. Now here is the steering wheel for the 392. You guys can see really nice leather trim all around, perforated here on the sides, so you can get a slightly better grip. Paddle shifters there on the back for the 8-speed automatic. You've got controls for the center stack. This does have adaptive cruise control as well as regular cruise control, and then radio controls on the back. Turn signal stock, windshield wiper stock, you know, all the normal works. Now here's the center gauge cluster you guys can see there with the RPMs on the one side and then you got the speed on the other side. Notice fuel economy 13.4, which is the same as what I average in my 392 with the Extreme Recon, so it doesn't look like you get better fuel economy with the smaller tires and the less aggressive axle ratio, which is surprising. Very, very surprising. Also, I guess it depends on how this person drove it. And this person has the tires set at way higher than what I'd have mine at. With my 35s, I have my tire pressure set at like 37, 38, sometimes even 35, frankly. But yeah, you guys can see the different statuses you can see here, including like the off-road status. This one's very important so you don't roll over. But there you go. Now here's the infotainment system. First off, we pop it into reverse. You guys can see backup camera with trajectory lines that turn the steering wheel. And then notice the front view as well with those trajectory lines. Definitely helps out. Dual zone climate. You do have heated seats for the front heated steering wheel, and this is also how you can quickly access the cameras. This has the off-road pages just like other Jeep vehicles, and there you go. So we've got a bunch of controls here for like the radio, climate system, heated seats, all that fun stuff. Main controls on go over. Off-road cruise control. This is for the exhaust to open or close the valves, and then you can see with the window controls there in the center, and then all the USBs. Auxiliary switches down below. And then notice we got our off-road plus, which is kind of like an off-road drive mode. Sway bar disconnect, front and rear lockers. And then for the driveline select, we have 4-wheel auto, 4-wheel high, part-time, neutral, and then 4-wheel low. Shifter for that 8-speed automatic. And then notice here with the parking brake with the stitching. And then you guys can see there with the cup holders. Normal Jeep center console. And then you can see there with the glove box, got the grab handle, and then gray here on the front instead of red like in a regular Rubicon. And then this one has the top insulation, which I always recommend. The Rubicon 392 only comes in a 4-door, so you've got the 2 hard pieces here on the front that you can take off with these latches, and then the rest you have to use tools for. And yeah, there you go. If you want the most up-to-date pricing on this particular 392, check out the Dodge Ram in Sandy's website in the description down below. Let's see how it drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors, which again do have blind spot. And then throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So setting off here in the quote-unquote regular 392. Now as an owner of an Extreme Recon package, I'm curious to see how this drives differently from mine, because it's been quite a bit of time since I've driven a, again, regular 392. Still sounds just as cool. Now something to mention is it seems like this doesn't float around as much. Again, that's a big part of that's probably the tires. That person even stopped at that stop sign. Why? Subaru drivers. But yeah, I'm guessing that's because of the tires. Like the steering wheel doesn't seem to like do the, I'm doing this just for demonstration purposes. It doesn't seem to do that as much. It seems like it stays kind of more planted in the center, which I definitely appreciate. These Fox shocks definitely lend to less body roll compared to the shocks that I have in mine. Why didn't you make this work, Jeep? This drives so well. Now, it doesn't feel as smooth over certain things because, again, you've got a little bit less tire. So there's definitely that. Man, this is such a mixed bag. It's like, oh, it's like you got the good shocks and you know, and turning everything on the smaller tire package. That is, yeah, interesting that Jeep decided to make that choice. That's a cool Tacoma. Look at that thing. Other than that, other things about this, I mean, seat comfort's great. Again, like I own one of these, so I can tell you that it's a pretty comfortable vehicle. It's still a Jeep though, so you get quite a bit of wind noise and, you know, tire noise and just noise in general, right? It's kind of like a Jeep thing, right? So it's just to be expected. Comes with the territory, that is for sure. Can never trust Utah drivers if they're going to turn or not. It's always a thing. But anyways, okay, so we're going to get our full-on acceleration here. I mean, this feels quick, don't get me wrong. Extreme Recon though, I feel like punch is a little bit harder off the line. That's a benefit of that 4.56 versus the 3.73 that this has. But this doesn't feel horrible. Now the other thing with the gearing difference is this isn't gonna have as solid of a crawl ratio, right? When you put it in low range and everything, the Extreme Recon's really gonna slow things down, whereas this not as much with the 3.73. And there's not a fuel economy difference. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to end this video. This is a mixed bag. I'm annoyed at Jeep slightly. I love their product obviously because I own one, but it's kind of a mixed bag. So first off, you know, from an on-road driving perspective, I'd have to say this probably drives better than the Extreme Recon. Feels like it has less body roll. You have less tire noise. It feels a little bit smoother because the shocks are better. So I guess this is a better on-road vehicle. But obviously this has less ground clearance. It's got less tires. You're not getting as much grip from an off-road perspective. And if you wanted to do a cool off-road build with this, you'd have to put more money into this than the Extreme Recon, because the Extreme Recon, you already have the bigger tires and the better axle ratio. So if you lifted an Extreme Recon, you wouldn't have to lift it as much, and I guess that you'd get maybe a better tire credit for 35s to 37s. If you went from 33s like this has to 37s, that'd be, you know, a bigger jump from a lift perspective. And you'd waste, this has the Fox shocks, which you'd waste. The Extreme Recon, I mean, those shocks that it has stock, I don't care for them whatsoever. And so if you switched out to different shocks with that, then I feel like that's a plus rather than a minus. Whereas this, switching out to different shocks might not, like, it might actually be to detriment with this vehicle with how good these Fox shocks are. So, man, how do I end this? The Extreme Recon looks cooler because it's lifted more and it's got bigger tires. This drives better on road. Extreme Recon's better off-road, that's for sure. But this would be better for high-speed off-roading because it has better absorption. Man, I don't know. I can't recommend one over the other because there's benefits and downsides to both. If Jeep didn't mess things up and put real shocks on the Extreme Recon, then the Extreme Recon would win. But yeah, let me know which one you guys would choose. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this Jeep Wrangler Rubicon 392. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Dodge Ram here in Sandy, Utah for giving me some time with this Jeep. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see you guys.